There's a generation that learned to dial rotary phones with their fingers and later unlocked smartphones with their face. They grew up turning physical knobs to find a radio station and then watched the first iPhone change the rules overnight. Psychologists still don't agree where to place them because no other group had to adapt this many times this fast during the years that shape who you become. If you were born roughly between the late 70s and mid-80s, this isn't nostalgia. This is your nervous system. You didn't just watch technology change, you were forced to translate your life every few years. As a kid, information came slowly. If you wanted to know something, you asked someone. If they didn't know, that was the end of it. Music meant waiting for your favorite song to come on the radio, finger hovering over the record button, hoping the DJ didn't talk over the intro. Photos were expensive, calls were short, silence was normal. Then things started speeding up. Radios turned into TVs in every room, answering machines turned into voicemail, maps turned into MapQuest printouts you folded 6 times and hoped you didn't miss a turn. Phones stopped being attached to walls, and suddenly they were attached to you. And here's the part people miss. This didn't happen when you were a child, and it didn't happen when you were fully settled as an adult either. It happened right in the middle, while you were still figuring out who you were. That timing changes everything. Most generations grow up inside one system. They learn the rules once and optimize inside them. You didn't get that luxury. You learned patience first, then speed. You learned how to wait and then how to respond instantly. You learned privacy before documentation. Then you learned what it feels like when nothing ever really disappears. Think about how many times you had to mentally update your world. Showing up without texting turned into constant check-ins. Unreachable afternoons turned into unread messages that suddenly meant something. 3 ways to contact someone turned into 15, and somehow you were expected to manage all of them. And you did, but not without a cost, because while all of this was happening, your brain was still under construction. The part responsible for judgment, flexibility, and long-term thinking doesn't fully mature until your mid-20s. That means you were adapting to massive technological shifts during the exact window when your identity was forming. You weren't just learning new tools, you were learning new rules for being human. I'll explain why that matters in a second, but first, notice this. You can sit through a conversation without reaching for your phone every 10 seconds, but you're also not afraid of new apps, updates, or systems. You remember being bored, and you also know how to fill silence instantly. That combination is rare. Older generations often distrust technology because they met it fully formed. Younger generations rarely question it because they never knew life without it. You lived on both sides of the line, which means you remember something that quietly vanished, a past that could fade. Your worst haircut isn't archived. Your teenage mistakes aren't searchable. Your embarrassing moments didn't become permanent records. They became stories, slightly different every time you told them. Your memory was allowed to do what it evolved to do: reshape, soften, let go. Now pause here because this is where things get complicated. Right as you were adapting to a fully digital world, another shift hit, one that had nothing to do with technology. You entered adulthood around a time when stability suddenly stopped being guaranteed. Careers stalled, jobs disappeared, plans were delayed or erased. And research shows that instability during this life stage doesn't just pass, it imprints. Even when things improve, part of you stays alert, prepared for collapse, careful with risk. So now you have a generation shaped by 2 forces at once: rapid change and broken promises. You learned how to adapt because you had to, but you also learned not to trust that systems will hold. That's why this group feels contradictory. Independent because you were left alone to figure things out, adaptable because nothing stayed the same long enough to get comfortable, optimistic enough to learn new tools, skeptical enough to question them. You can appreciate convenience without worshiping it. You can remember life before constant noise and still function inside it. And if you've ever felt slightly out of sync with everyone around you, too young for some spaces, too old for others, that's not a personal failure. That's the signature of your experience. You weren't raised for a stable world. You were raised for a transitional one. And in a time where change keeps accelerating, that may be the most valuable lesson you didn't even realize you were learning. How to adapt without completely losing yourself in the process. If this felt uncomfortably accurate, you're not alone. Subscribe for more. There's a lot more beneath the surface of this generation, and we're just getting started.